my Lord Duke.
Where the fear is gone, only I will remain.
Dune 3 finally has a confirmed release date, but we'll have to be patient to return to Arrakis for the third installment. Following the massive box office success of Dune Part 2, which is currently streaming on Max in the US, Denis Villeneuve has been confirmed to return for this eagerly anticipated third film by production company Legendary. As Denis Villeneuve has hinted since the first film, he will indeed return to complete his Dune trilogy with an adaptation of Frank Herbert's sequel, Dune Messiah. In April 2024, Villeneuve updated the New York Times on the film's progress. "I don't want to reveal what I'm going to do with the third movie. I know exactly what to do. I'm writing it right now." While we face a long wait until possibly December 2026 for the third film, here's everything you need to know about Dune 3. And stick around until the end of the video, where we'll discuss how Dune 3 might unfold faster than Messiah's storyline suggests, and why I hope one particular detail stays the same. But first, let's start the video with the release date. Dune 3 has officially been scheduled for release on December 18, 2026. In June 2024, Warner Bros. Announced an untitled Denis Villeneuve film for that date, and an IMAX presentation in July confirmed it would be another installment in the Dune saga. As of June 2024, Villeneuve is still working on the script, and the cast has not been finalized yet, so there might be a chance of delay. However, with the release date set so far in advance, there's still hope that everything will stay on track. As for the Dune 3 cast, even though the official cast list isn't out yet, we can pretty much guess who will be back for Dune 3 based on the characters in the book. For Dune 3, we can look forward to seeing Timothée Chalamet return as Paul Atreides, Zendaya back as Chani, and Florence Pugh taking on the role of Princess Irulan. Charlotte Rampling will reprise her role as Gaius Helen Mohayim, while Javier Bardem returns as Stilgar. Additionally, Anya Taylor-Joy will be featured as Alia Atreides. There shouldn't be any issues bringing Timothée Chalamet back for Dune 3 since he signed a significant deal with Warner Bros. On March 26, 2024. This multi-year agreement allows him to work with other studios, but Warner Bros. Will have the first option on his projects. As for Florence Pugh, although she didn't have a major role in the sequel, Denis Villeneuve has already confirmed that Princess Irulan will have a much bigger part in the third film. She said, "I introduced Chani in Dune and then she becomes one of the main characters in Part 2. I do the same with Florence. I just introduced her in Part 2 and if there's a Dune Messiah, she becomes one of the main characters." Denis Villeneuve is excited about the prospect of working with Anya Taylor-Joy and Florence Pugh again in Dune 3. He expressed his enthusiasm to EW saying, "I would love to make Dune Messiah just to work with her and Florence more. Those actresses are so inspiring. They give me chills and the will to do another one." With the third movie confirmed, we can expect to see a lot more of Pugh and Taylor-Joy. Taylor-Joy has already basically confirmed her return. As for other characters, Lady Jessica, Gurney Halleck, and Shaddam IV are only mentioned in Dune Messiah. However, don't be surprised if Villeneuve finds a way to include them in his adaptation. Ferguson is eager to return, but acknowledges it's out of her control. She joked, "As long as my character doesn't go and sit somewhere hot and covered in fabrics, I'm happy." Stephen McKinley Henderson, who didn't appear in Dune 2 due to Villeneuve focusing on the Bene Gesserit, might be included in the third film. However, since he wasn't in Dune Messiah, his return remains uncertain. Tim Blake Nelson was cut from Dune Part 2, and while we never officially learned who he was playing, there were rumors he might have been cast as Lady Margot's husband, Count Fenring. There's a chance he could appear in Dune 3. Lea Seydoux had a minor role in the sequel as Lady Margot Fenring, a member of the Bene Gesserit. Although Lady Margot doesn't appear in Dune Messiah, this doesn't completely rule out her return for the third movie. Now the big question is, will Jason Momoa be in Dune 3? Even though Jason Momoa's Duncan, Idaho was killed off in the first movie, fans of the Dune books know that his story isn't over. In Dune Messiah, Duncan is brought back as a Gola, an artificially created human, as a gift to Paul. This gift comes with a significant twist, but we'll save the details for later when you see the movie. Now, one concern I have about Dune 3 is how quickly it's moving ahead compared to Dune Messiah's timeline. The film's rapid progress with the script reportedly near completion, is a bit surprising. I hope this swift pace doesn't lead Denis Villeneuve to alter a crucial detail from the book. The quick turnaround for Dune 3 raises some questions, and I'm hoping that the key elements of the story remain intact despite the accelerated schedule. Dune 3 is set to come out a decade sooner than expected, as they are eyeing a December 18, 2026 release for the third installment. While the date is officially for an untitled Denis Villeneuve film, reports suggest it's meant for Dune 3. This means the film could hit theaters just 2.5 years after Dune 2. Given the quick turnaround, it seems to fit with the pace of Dune 2's production. However, the situation is different with Dune Messiah. The book is set 12 years after the events of the first novel, so a similarly lengthy gap between films would have made sense. Instead, Dune 3 is moving ahead about 10 years earlier than the story's timeline would suggest, which might impact how the adaptation unfolds. To properly adapt Dune Messiah, Dune 3 will need to incorporate a significant time jump. The story of Dune Messiah is set 12 years after Dune, allowing Paul to be fully established as emperor and for time to pass as he and Chani contemplate starting a family. This gap also plays a crucial role in the rise of a rebellion against Paul and his Fremen, Jihad, following the Holy War. While it was always unlikely that studios would let Villeneuve wait a full 12 years to make the film, it's essential that Dune 3 retains a notable time jump. Even if it has to be reduced to 6 or 7 years, which aligns more closely with the real-life gap between the films, it's crucial for the story's authenticity. This time jump is vital to show the state of the galaxy under Paul's rule and his adjustment to his power. Ignoring this element would diminish the impact of Paul's character development and necessitate changes to the story. Anya Taylor-Joy's appearance as Alia Atreides in Dune 2, along with Paul's vision of her, suggests that Dune 3 will likely address this time gap to make sense of her older presence in the narrative. A time jump in Dune 3 will be crucial for the character's development and consistency with the story. In Dune and Dune Part 2, Paul, Chani, and Irulan were portrayed as teenagers in the book, but the films aged them up to fit the actors' ages. By the time Dune Messiah takes place, these characters should be in their 30s, reflecting over a decade of experience in their complex political and personal lives. The expected main cast, Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Florence Pugh, and Anya Taylor-Joy, will likely be in their late 20s when filming begins. Even if the time jump in the film is shorter than the 12 years in the book, it will still allow the actors to bring more maturity and depth to their roles. This passage of time will help the characters feel more established and aligned with their experiences in Dune Messiah, making the story more authentic. That's all for today. What are your biggest hopes or concerns about how Denis Villeneuve will adapt Dune Messiah? Are there any particular details or characters you're especially excited to see? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. For more updates and discussions on Dune and other exciting projects, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.